welcome to the Oasis Healing Temple. So I had some time today and I wanted to do some readings for you guys. There's been a lot of shifts taking place right now currently in the collective. So I wanted to take a look at what you are learning. And there are 3 pile choices today, and I've chosen these cute little wolf heads to represent the independence and the search for, learning who you are and becoming that independent self outside of your family and your clan, your tribe. Who are you as an individual within the tribe, within the collective? So I wanted to take a look at what you are learning. So for pile number 1, this is your card, and that is paired with the Mookiate wolf. Mookiate Jasper. For pile number 2, you have the Tiger Eye Wolf with this card. And for pile number 3, we have this card with the Opalite wolf, the white wolf. Okay. Pause the video if you need more time to meditate. These are collective readings, so take what resonates for you and lovingly leave the rest. The timestamps are going to be listed in the description box below, and I'll see you all at your readings. Welcome to your reading, pile number 1. You guys were drawn to the Mookiate Wolf, as well as the card that says, cut away what is no longer needed for you. And it's card number 9, so I feel like you've come to the end of a cycle, the end of a phase. It could be the end of a relationship, with Mookiate Jasper being the stone that you chose. All Jaspers are a very deep, nurturing stone. So I feel like you are learning to take care of yourself and take care of your needs, letting go of things that are no longer serving you. I feel like there has been, like it's the end of a journey, the end of a relationship, something that's not been, maybe moving in the right direction. And I feel like you have decided to cut your losses so that you can grow. I feel like you've been nurturing an aspect of yourself, like your inner child, learning to practice more self-care, self-love, taking care of your own needs, putting yourself first. Maybe you're somebody who's been an overgiver, overextending yourself, saying yes all the time, even when you don't feel like saying yes. And you've learned that it depletes you, it takes away your energy, and those types of relationships and experiences, aren't serving you. They're not making you happy. You're not seeing any of those returns, whether it be energetic returns or whatever it is that you're putting out. I feel like you haven't been receiving that reciprocity that you've been looking for. And now that you have decided to cut the cords to the past, maybe there's been some type of ending of sorts in your life where you've learned to say no and be okay saying no. Yeah, you are. And this could be something in the past too. Something that has been, an old habit, an old pattern, an old ways of talking to yourself and treating yourself. You're learning to stand up for yourself and say no. And there's this like inner light that's beaming out from within your heart here, because you got a lot of heart growth. Alright, let's see what else the cards want to reveal for you. Your creativity. I'm sorry, you guys. I had to pause the videos. The goats were coming through, crossing over the fields, and they just love to talk. So, I mean, and that may be significant to you too. They move as a herd, they move as a tribe. Everybody looks out for one another, and I feel like that could be something for somebody. You're looking for people who have, that same type of relationship where everybody helps everyone and cares about everyone. They care about how you feel. They care about when you're having a bad day. They don't criticize you and judge you. They allow you that space, to be who you are. And we have this little angel, like I was saying before I paused the video. I feel like this is some healing coming in for your inner child. And it says creativity. Divine inspiration strikes at the most wonderful times. The angels remind you that the more you believe in your abilities and let your creative impulses out, the better artist you become. You start to feel more alive and powerful as you allow new wonderful ideas to come into your mind. Okay, so I feel like, yeah, you're coming out of, that mental space where we can get so caught up in our minds where we are not focused on the present moment, or we tend to tune out of our heart space and we're more into our head thinking about, the stresses and the worries and everything that needs to get done, or we're focusing on the past and the things that didn't turn out right, or the people who may have hurt you, having that negative self-talk even. And it takes us out of our heart, it takes us out of our energy, it takes us out of our power. And so I feel like you are learning to disengage from those negative thought patterns and start listening to the heart more and bring in more healing, more loving attention to the heart space. And when you cut away all these things of the past, the things that no longer serve you, these old belief systems, old ways of believing and seeing and even speaking to yourself, and you start listening to your heart a little bit more, it brings the heart and mind into balance, and it brings healing to your inner child, so that your inner child now has more space because you've let go of the things that aren't serving you, and you've created this space within. And now something new is blooming. There's this light that's sparking within your heart space here that's starting to shine out, and inspiration is flooding and coming in. If it hasn't already, it will be. You're going to start getting some ideas, something that you're passionate about doing, that you're wanting to create for yourself, an idea, some type of, a spark of inspiration, something that lights you up. And I feel like you're being asked to move in that direction. Maybe you're being asked to take a course because we're taking a look at what you are learning. So maybe there's something new that you're going to be learning to create. It says making a choice. Okay, so we have 2 doors here, and we have this path leading up to these 2 doors. So there is this choice to walk away from the past and choose something new for yourself. Choose something that's more in alignment and more balanced with who you are as an individual. Maybe there was something that you wanted to do as a child, something that inspired you, it lit you up, you really enjoyed doing it, like time just flew by anytime you were engaged in this activity. And you're being asked to go within and remember that spark. Remember who you are. Remember who you were before all the stresses and the worries and the pains of the world, broke your heart. And there's these doors of opportunity that are coming in for you, pile number 1. There's some decision that's going to be needed to make. And it could be, because all this inspiration's coming in, you're going to need to make a choice on how to, maybe make time to engage more in your activity, in your creative activity, your inspiration. There's a bunch of little pea stubs here. So it's about setting yourself free from something, like limited thoughts, limited thinkings, maybe limited potential, not seeing your full potential. Or something may be coming in where you need to make that choice. We have slow and steady, so it's keep moving forward. So we have 33 here, which is a master number, and it is about creativity. is known as the Master Teacher number. So it's having this like a high level of spiritual understanding. It's also about the being guided by your divine self here. And we have this beautiful little fairy with these spirals here. So you've been learning a lot of lessons. And this choice could be to move forward and leave the past behind. You know, let go of the things that aren't serving you, that don't inspire you, that don't make you feel, you know, energized and motivated. And that's also a good compass, a good read on knowing whether you're doing something out of guilt. Will let you know that that's not something that you should be saying yes to. You know, if there's guilt or a lower vibration in any way, anytime you're engaging in some kind of activity, if you're helping someone out, you're going against what, you know, your body says. You know, you're exhausted and you're tired and somebody's asking you to do something and your body's like, I don't want to do it, and you pretty much just override your body and your feelings, and you just do it because you don't want to either hear about it later, you don't want to feel guilty, or you don't want to let somebody down. You know, you can always say, thank you so much for thinking about me. I really wish I could. I'm just so exhausted right now. You know, maybe another day, a rain check, whatever. Be comfortable saying no, you know, and what is it? Acknowledging. I also want to say, what's the word? Be okay with your, you know, it's honoring yourself, honoring your abilities, honoring your need to rest, to receive. And if you're overriding yourself and saying, I'm going to exert this energy that I don't have, and I'm going to keep doing things even though your body says no, in those moments where it's time for you to rest, there could be something that Spirit wants to reveal to you, or there's some healing that needs to come in, some insight, some opportunity, some kind of you know, guidance from your guides, or a blessing that needs to come into you. But it requires you to slow down enough in order to receive this blessing, to receive this idea. And it requires you to be like in meditation, in the present moment, to not be active, to slow down, to just pause and wait, and to contemplate, you know, or meditate, be in nature. And if you're too busy working and doing for other individuals, you're not going to receive those blessings. You're not going to receive those ideas and those opportunities. Okay. Anchor in. All right, so this is about grounding. So there may be a choice that you've been contemplating that involves your creativity, but you're being asked to slow down, to pause, to meditate, to ground, go outside in nature, be more in the present moment. Because we have hematite here, and it is it's a protective grounding stone. So it helps connect you to Mother Earth, to ground and anchor into your roots, to be more present, more observant. You have chrysocolla. What do you need? Okay, so you're being asked to ask yourself this question. What do I need? What makes me feel safe? What makes me feel good? What makes me feel happy? What energizes me? You know, when you have to start feeding your soul that energy, focusing on you now. What are your needs? What makes you feel supported? What makes you feel nurtured? What makes you feel safe speaking to somebody and being vulnerable with someone? And it takes us to slow down and connect and tune in to our heart space to understand what it is that we need. I'm not sure what kind of little bug this is here. We have all these snakes, you know, and snakes have several different meanings. We have the, you know, shedding the past, letting go of our old versions of ourselves, old ways of doing things, old habits, you know, things that, the comfort zones that we've fallen into. I've always done things this way, And so it just becomes a habit and you get used to it. And sometimes we can burn out. We can just get so tired and not finding, happiness and fulfillment in the choices and the decisions that we make each day. And we just kind of like grin and bear it. And I feel like when you come to that place of feeling, like unsatisfied, you eventually start making different choices. And it's like challenging yourself when a certain situation occurs and you feel yourself wanting to like say yes, or just fall in line and continue doing the daily yeses to everyone and pushing yourself and overexerting yourself. Instead of doing that, challenge yourself to do something different, to do the opposite of what you would normally do. And this creates such a big shift in your reality. And it starts to become like kind of fun when you start looking at things, because when you start honoring like your truth and how you really feel. And it's not saying like if somebody makes you mad and you just like straight up like I want to choose someone out, or something like that. It's not acting on an impulsive reaction to somebody in a negative way. It's learning to treat yourself and to value yourself, to value your emotions, value your energy levels, and know when it's appropriate to be able to say no, when it's okay to say no, when it is okay to say no, and to acknowledge and validate your feelings, your emotions, and all those things, and to just create those subtle changes. I'm telling you, it's like rearranging your living room, right? Like, it's been a certain kind of way for so many years, and you just decide, I'm going to move some furniture around, and it creates such an energy shift in your home, like the air in the room changes, the air in the space changes, you feel it's more open, it can be more energized, it just creates a whole different environment for you. So try to do this with your thoughts, with your emotions, with your actions. Start playing with them and choosing different outcomes for yourself. And this will create a different timeline for you, a different experience altogether. And you'll start seeing those shifts appear in your reality. Your reality will start to change. Your day-to-day will start to change. And you will start to receive more energy, more inspiration. You'll start getting a little bit more creative with it. And you'll feel so comfortable being able to say no and not feeling like you're a bad person or like guilt or shame or something like that, because you don't have that. It's like when we say yes to all these things that we really don't want to, it's like we're looking for somebody to validate our worth and to tell us that we're good and we're worthy, and we really, it's sad that we look for other people to tell us that. And I think it's because there's some time in our childhood where we didn't hear those words, where we needed somebody to comfort us and say, you are amazing, you are wonderful just as you are, you don't need to do anything, you are perfect as God made you, I love you so much. And there's that validation that you need from your parents to support you. But as you get older, it starts to be something where you really just need it from yourself. You need to give yourself that validation. And we don't validate ourselves when we're running around and doing things for other people who could care less if we're tired, who could care less if that's like our last dollar to our name, or we've been working all day and you need me to go do this for you. And we just sit there and we do it for people because we're afraid of feeling guilty, or we're afraid that they're going to disapprove of our friendship or something, and it's questioning yourself. Why do I feel like I need to do this? What am I going to receive from doing this? And sometimes, we're not looking to get something out of everything we do. Sometimes we do things out of the kindness of our heart. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the times where we really don't want to do something and we say yes anyway. Why? Why do we do that? Why do you do that? Start questioning your actions and your motives and the energies, the emotions, the thought process behind the choices that you're making. Like, slow it down and question, why do I want to say yes? Am I doing this out of fear? Am I doing this out of guilt? Am I doing this because I want their validation? Like, question yourself, before you make those choices. It's going to help you so much, Pound One. We have better with time. Nice. And you will. It'll get better with time. Things are going to start changing. We have these shifts of we have the zodiac wheel here. We have these cycles. I forget what this is called. I mean, I know it's about the, the geometry of the universe and everything, but we have the snake again here. So this is about the cycles, shifting the cycles, evolving out of the past, evolving onto a new path, to a new cycle, a new beginning for yourself. And we've already said that again with what you are learning to stand up for yourself, learning to practice more self-love, self-care, pausing before you say yes and do things that you really don't want to do, pausing before you make choices and decide, do I say yes to this? Do I say no to this? Do I walk this path? Do I, switch jobs? Do I end this relationship with an individual? Question your motives. And we got these spirals. Spirals and spirals. Lots of change, lots of growth. Lots of forward movement for you, pound number 1. Ooh, we have the sun and joy, success, and happiness. Nice, nice, nice. There's a new beginning. There is success ahead for you, pound number 1. A lot of happiness, a lot of joy, a lot of inspiration coming in. Things are going to get better in time. And it's the more you go within and pour your love, your attention, your focus, things that make you happy, and you start, feeding that inner child, lighting up that inner child, embracing your needs and being okay having needs and even knowing what your needs are. It's going to light you up. You're going to feel so connected. And I feel like this is your solar plexus, about having more confidence in yourself, having more courage to stand up for yourself, to face your fears, to acknowledge your past and where your fears come from. And a lot of it, they always come from our childhood and places where we don't feel like we're good enough, or we don't feel like we're seen for who we are. And, it happens to all of us, to be honest. We all have different childhoods, but we all end up holding on to these belief systems, these false truths about who we really are and the way that we see ourselves. It does influence the way we see ourselves based on, how we were raised. And so now when you learn to see yourself through your own eyes and acknowledge your needs and validate your wants, your desires, and not living for anybody else's validation, and start having more confidence in yourself and seeing who you truly are, being truthful with yourself, you're going to find so much joy and happiness coming into your reality, because your inner child's going to be lit up. It's going to feel loved. It's going to feel validated. It's not going to feel like, every time, I don't want to do something and I'm being forced to do something and nobody cares how I feel. You know what I mean? You end up doing that to yourself too. You end up forcing yourself to do things, even when you don't really want to. And, there's nobody validating those emotions for you. So you're just going to stuff them down and, forget about them until they come up again the next time you ignore how you feel. And so now when you learn to stop doing that and you learn to listen to your own needs and your own wants and be comfortable saying no, your inner child feels validated, feels supported, because you are listening. You're tuning into your heart, and your mind is learning to listen to your heart. You find so much happiness and joy in your life. I promise you, pound number 1. So we have autumn, release the old and rest. So more of this letting go of the past. Let the past go. Lay it to rest. Or cut away what's no longer serving you. What makes you happy? It's getting in there and doing that inner work, inner reflective work, Ravens, they are able to see into the dark. They can see into the past. They're great guides. So I feel like there's a definite need to let go of the past and to embrace your true self, to embrace your heart, to embrace your desires and your emotions and your feelings. We have the humpback whale with singer. Ooh. Sing healing songs for the world. Your inner navigation always guides you. Nothing can stop you or keep you from your goal. Align with your purpose and the power in your soul. Woo, here they come. Okay, so I just had a mother and her daughter get lost, separated from the herd. So, and this may be significant for some of you. Maybe, this has to do with a mother-daughter relationship. Maybe you didn't feel very empowered. Your divine feminine didn't feel very empowered. Maybe your mother didn't feel like she had enough power herself. Maybe she had a lack of confidence, and so she didn't quite know how to, give you confidence because she herself didn't have it within her own light to give you. So I feel like this is about empowering your divine feminine here and standing up for yourself, speaking your truth, being comfortable with your truth, empowering your truth, having more confidence in yourself, using that throat chakra to communicate your emotions. And maybe you didn't have a very supportive mother. All right, so these are, I can't remember, sacred geometry activation. So I got each pile gets one of these to help activate. Oh, you got the solar plexus. That's what I'm talking about. That's more confirmation here about empowering yourself. So it's card number 3. Wow. So you have 333, pile number 1, which is such a beautiful number. It's about the Ascended Masters being here with you and knowing that they are assisting you in whatever you're currently going through. They're helping you overcome these old patterns, old shifts. So definitely reach out and connect to your guides. So it says the frequency of the solar plexus chakra, the yellow flower of life, supports our sense of self, our personal power, and our willpower, as well as our knowing of who we are and what our contribution is to the whole. Ooh, so we have this coming out, align with your purpose. So there's something that you're being called to do. There's going to be an opportunity, some kind of choice coming into your reality because you've made space. You're making space for something new to come in. And it's something that's going to help ignite your inner spark, your inner flame. And it's going to remind you of like your soul purpose, like why you're here. And the next one is coherence with 13. Nice. The frequency of coherence supports our ability to harmonize the frequency of the heart with the frequency of the mind. What? For an optimal ability to create the reality that we desire. There we go. So when our heart and mind are in sync with one another, our inner child feels safe because our mind is like the divine masculine energy. Welcome, pile number 2. So you guys were drawn to the tiger eye wolf, as well as this card that says you contain the entire universe encoded within you. So for you, pile number 2, what I feel for you is you are about to be receiving some type of download, some new information, new ideas, new perspectives. And we have the sun over here with the moon cycles going around it. So I feel like there's and we have card number 36, which is a 9, some ending of a cycle, and there's this new beginning. And so you're going to be receiving some type of insight, inspiration, new ideas. This is also your crown chakra, so you might be connecting to your soul self, your galactic origins. Take what resonates for you. But yeah, and there's this spiral, so there's this evolution, evolving, a lot of growth. or a higher perspective. Okay, I had to pause because the goats were coming through. All right, so let's see what other messages want to come through for you for round number 2. So we have honesty. I am truthful. I speak my truth honestly. The angels ask you to offer your true self up to the world and search for the truth. Act upon the truth and tell the truth, even though it may not make you popular. Say what you think and think what you say. So it's honoring your wisdom. So what I feel like you are learning at the moment that you are tuning into this reading is you're learning to honor your true self, learning to speak your truth, standing up for your beliefs, your perspective, not worrying about what other people say, having the courage to honor your voice, honor your the way that you see things, what you have experienced, your truth, speaking it from your heart. What have you experienced? What has the world shown you? What have you learned through your experience? Being honest about who you really are. Maybe some of you have been, afraid to express your spiritual path, your spiritual truth, because I feel like some of you are, with the stars here, that you connect to your star guides, to your star origins, your extraterrestrial families, your guides, maybe some of you communicate with them even. And so maybe it's hard for you to, express that version of yourself. Maybe you're afraid of how others are going to perceive you or think you're crazy. But I want you to know that you're not. There's so many people out there that have this, who have made this connection, who, have activated certain spiritual gifts, and they truly are guided by their guides, their galactic family. And coming out with the, the tiger eye, that stone is for the solar plexus, and it helps us to have more courage, to be more confident in ourselves. It's that tiger eye, not being afraid to express your truth and your perception. The acknowledging your voice. Talisman. Let's see. What do we have? Dragon? It appears to be a dragon on her arm. Ooh, okay. Yeah, some of you may even relate with the dragons, connect to the dragons. They are helping to cleanse and purify the grid lines, and they're very majestic beings. They to explain dragon energy, they travel through different dimensions, the highest dimensions, but they can also traverse the lower dimensions, which is why they're able to cleanse and purify the grid lines of the earth. And they're known as guardians and protectors of ancient wisdom and knowledge. So some of you may be working with a dragon guide. Some of you may resonate as dragon keepers, wisdom keepers. Yeah, and I feel like you are somebody who is here to hold the balance, or you're being asked to balance, one foot in the spiritual and balancing the other foot in the physical realm. I'm going to look up this rune real quick. I can't remember. I don't have the runes memorized by heart yet. I am still learning. Okay, that rune right there is called Jera. And it says, the results of earlier efforts are realized. A time of peace and happiness, a fruitful season. It can break through stagnancy, hopes and expectations of peace and prosperity. Ooh, nice. So you are coming onto a path of balance and prosperity and peace. And we have card number 49, which is a 13, which breaks further down into a 4, which is about stability. So you're on a path of stability. I feel like you have connected and tuned into your higher self and, you know, your true self, and you're starting to feel more balanced on your path. Like the path ahead is going to be more balanced, going to be even more guided by your higher self. Yeah, see, we have this light here, and it looks like it's a little galaxy. And she's holding in her hand. I'm assuming that is the talisman that she's holding. But there's something that you carry with you. It's a specific type of frequency or energy that you hold, and it's very ancient, old wisdom. And we have you contain the entire wisdom encoded within you. So there's an energy, there's some kind of information, some kind of codes, ancient wisdom that you're meant to bring forward into this life, onto your journey, on the path that you're walking. We have mountain. This could represent like the path that you're going on. Maybe you're here to shine the truth, shine the light on, you know, the burdens that other people have taken on for themselves. Just a minute, pile number 2. Sorry about that. I had a guest come over. Okay, so with the mountain, this could also be where the wisdom that you have is very old, very wise. And, you know, mountain, when you think of the mountains, the wisdom or the insight, the connection that you feel anytime you're in the mountains, you know, it is that peak of, you know, that higher perspective, that vision that you get anytime you're on the mountaintop. And there's this light that's shining in. So I feel like for some of you, see how the light's coming in? The mountains can also represent the challenge that needs to be overcome. You know, when there's this perspective, this light, this vision that is being offered to you or given to you, maybe you are here to give that wisdom, to shine your light on other people's struggles, challenges, things that, you know, that road that everybody has to walk. Yeah, and see the mouth is open. And it kind of looks like there's this individual who's walking into the entrance of the mountain. So, I mean, this could be the path that you're walking now. There is some kind of challenge to overcome. Let's get some more confirmation. I mean, we also have the number 4, you know, about stability, and we have the mountain. So that's that ancient old wisdom that's anchored and buried deep into the earth. Let's see what else we have. We have first the fire lick, and it's a volcano erupting here. Yeah, something coming to the surface, something that's been maybe buried deep within. That's that, your wisdom. Maybe this releasing of emotions for some of you. Yeah, and it's Larimar. You know, Larimar is that connection to Lemuria, to Atlantis, to the ancients. Yeah, I feel like it's time to take the mask off, to reveal the truth. We have all these dolphins at play. Some of you may resonate with Sirius, the Sirius star beings, or have a connection to the star beings from Sirius. They, what is it, the Dogon tribes of Africa, I think it's Africa, who tell of the ancients who came from Sirius. I think there's even like a prophecy, and it's the blue star that's in the sky, And Sirius is one of our, it is the spiritual sun to our sun. So it's like our sun looks up to and receives information from Sirius. It's known as the dog star, and there's the information that gets channeled to us every year through the Lion's Gate portal, which is on 8/8. There's this alignment between the galactic sun, Sirius, and our sun, and so there's this huge light beam of information that gets grounded here onto the earth, that gets shown kind of in a way like this light here from, I'm not sure if this is the moonlight, how it's shining down onto the mountain here, but it's like this beam of light, this transmission that comes in from these stars. A lot of wisdom, pile number 2. So some of you may be just now tapping into that potential, to your divine wisdom, and discovering your truth. This eruption of fire, of inspiration, but also of like emotion that's probably been buried deep. So there may be some things that are coming to the surface for you to process, to understand, to see from a different perspective. You have to balance the polarities here. Your truth, seeing the truth, seeing things from that higher perspective. And then you have that rune of Jera, which is about, expectations of peace and happiness and coming into a fruitful season. So you're probably my Starseed pile. Look, and we have a lion coming through, so there may be some information that's going to come in for you this year around the Lion's Gate portal. So definitely be paying attention, or do some type of meditation, or being outside grounding in nature to receive some inspiration, some ideas, some downloads. We have rose quartz, a different kind of love. Yeah, with this first, the fire and this eruption of the volcanoes. Volcanoes represent the, like when they're erupting, it's like an eruption of things that have been buried deep within the earth's soil, and they're finally are making their way to the surface to be revealed, to be expelled, to be released. I'll have to move this over here. It's so funny. The sun is such an interesting color today. When I woke up this morning, I heard the dogs barking and went outside, and we have like a 4-acre pond, and it was around like 7. The sun was coming up, and the color that it was this type of orange right here that I don't know if you can tell on the camera, the light that's coming in. It's not the normal bright light that we see. It's kind of got this orange hazy tint to it, so which is wild that it's coming through in your reading, because I feel like there's some definitely emotions, a connection to the sacral chakra, things that are buried within that are coming to the surface for you, that you're going to start perceiving things in a different kind of way. And this may relate to the honesty. It's being honest with how you feel, honest with being honest with your heart, and being truthful and speaking your truth, walking your path, honoring who you truly are. Some of you also, I just heard Lyran, so some of you may connect with the Lyrans, which are another collective of star beings who are very old, very ancient. They are part of the beginnings. They were here helping to seed the planet and many other planets in the cosmos. They're very old, very disciplined, very honorable, very honest, hardworking, and very wise old beings. So some of you may relate to them as well. I love how those two came through these readings. I have such a connection to both of them myself, honestly. It says, you only more so with the ruby. Ooh, okay. So some of you are definitely here to help with the gridding on Mother Earth, to help change the programming here on the planet. I'm not sure how many of you know anything about the black spider magic, and that's what was coming through when I saw this spider. The earth has been under like control by these negative dark forces, and they created this false grid, false light around the planet that has kind of kept humanity in a state of almost like slavery, where we are being forced to act on these roles and be in these cycles of repression, and where our light is being harvested, our minds were being programmed to constantly live in a state of fear, of lack, of separation and division, and always at war, and there's always some type of enemy, there's always not enough of something, there's always some kind of battle, there's always some kind of struggle, and they feed off of the fear, they feed off of the pain, they feed off of everybody's the separation and division. They don't want us coming together, they don't want us knowing our power. And so they have been they're like the ones who are the oppressors. They are the ones who have kept humanity enslaved for I don't even know how many eons of time. But you are somebody here who is a very old wise being, and you've come here. There's a bunch of you here on this reading. Take what resonates for you, because there's different collectives here, but you chose to come here to Earth to bring balance, to restore harmony, to bring your wisdom, to anchor this higher vibration of love onto planet Earth. For us to remember our truth, to remember where we come from, that we come from the stars, that we aren't meant to live in a poverty, at war with one another. We're actually meant to live in a space of community and love and peace and balance and harmony, not only with one another, but also with the planet, with Mother Earth, with the creatures, with the plants, with the rock beings, with the cosmos, with all these other star beings. And so you're here to help bring in that love, to remind others of our truth, of where we come from, and to, break free from the past, to break free from the things that hold us down, to know the truth, to know that we are loved, that we have always been loved. We are not born into sin. We're not born of sin. We are born divine, because we are the divine in the flesh. And there's nothing you need to do to earn that love. Ooh, we have wise one. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. Grow within your current situation. And I love that we have these flowers. I mean, look at this garden. All these roses that are blooming. You're coming into your heart, and it's being comfortable enough, being brave enough and confident enough to shine your light, to say the truth, to speak up, and to comment on things that you don't agree with, and maybe share your perspective, because it might enlighten other people. Everybody is just limited by their experiences, and when we share our experience and what we've overcome, what we have been through, how we perceive things through our experience, it shines a light for others who may feel like they're stuck, or like they're, like the world is very, very heavy. And having somebody who's been through a similar situation and still has found, healing, they found happiness, they found truth, they found connection, they found love, it's inspiring for others. And so we have this wise woman who's coming out, who has this medicine, has this higher perception, is able to see into the shadows, able to see past the fear, see into the illusion, and see the truth, and remind people of the truth. And that's the thing, like those who hold who know the truth, who know where we come from. They have the power, and it is our duty almost to remind people of our power, of our individual power, to remind people of our truth and where we come from, that we come from the stars, that we are the divine, to see through the illusion, to take our mask off and stop playing these roles that we think that's who we are, but it's not the truth of who we are. We're wearing these masks to fit in, to blend in, to get approval from others, because these are the programs that we need to look a certain kind of way in order to be accepted or to be successful. We have to have this kind of lifestyle. We need to have this amount of money, or this type of vehicle, or dress a certain kind of way, look a certain kind of way, in order to be accepted and to be happy or to be successful, like I was saying. And that's not the truth. There's so many different paths, and it's individual for everybody. Everybody's view of success and view of happiness, it's all something that's very personal, and it's not just this one cut and dry way. And there's many ways, many paths. There's lots of curves. There's lots of people that we meet along the journey, and so many experiences. There is no one way, And you, pile number 2, even more so deserve, love, and deserve to be seen, and deserve to shine your light for the beautiful soul that you are. I feel like you're very strong, and you're maybe you've lacked a little bit of confidence in yourself and been afraid to speak your truth. Yeah, now the time has come for you to do so. Okay. There's something, this lion heart here, to be brave and exposing the truth, revealing the truth. This might be your new mountain. Let's see what else you're learning. Pile number 2, we have trader. Exchange energy to create abundance. So there's an energy exchange. Okay. Exchange energy to create abundance. So I feel like with this card, we'll get some more clarity about what this trader is. Exchange energy to create abundance. I feel like that's about letting go of the fear, letting go of the things that don't serve you, letting go of the illusions, the untruths, so that you can make space for the abundance to come in. And this is about having some kind of craft, something, an offering that you have that you're meant to share with others that's going to bring in abundance. So maybe speaking this truth, you may be a writer, an author, a professional speaker, a teacher, a guide of some sort, that you're meant to share your truth, to speak your truth with the open mouth. That could be what that's relating to, as well as being honest and standing up for what you believe in, what you know is right, what you know is the truth, and sharing that as an offering, and offering that to others. And in exchange, this will create that cycle of give and take, that balance. And he has his hand over his heart. So yeah, I feel like there's you learning to love yourself and stand in your truth and honoring your truth here. Yeah, with the white cap, your crown, your authentic self, your higher self. Honoring this version of you, the version of you that knows who you are, your divine self here. Time to be brave with the tiger eye. Ooh, look, and we have the eagle. Mastery. You are on a spiritual journey beyond the sky. Let go of the past and soar. You are guided by the winds of spirit. Your wisdom inspires the world. I mean, you can't make this up. I love that. The eagle eye, the highest perception here. Knowing the truth. This is about self-mastery, mastering your emotions, being able to see beyond the illusion, seeing the truth. Yeah, there's telling your story, sharing your story, sharing your vision, sharing your higher perspective, of allowing it to flow, allowing yourself to be in divine flow. We have the waters and the fire here, and that's that balance. Speaking your truth, speaking your passions, allowing your passions to flow, your creativity, your inspiration, allowing yourself to be guided by it. Yeah, look, we have all these layers, There's so many layers to us, and this, it represents the different dimensions, the different aspects of who we are as individuals, the many lifetimes, with the spider that's weaving the fabric of creation here. It's your story, all the times that you've incarnated here, all the wisdom that you hold. My dog just came in to say, yes, yes, oh my God, Sirius is here. Alright, pile number 2, I have drawn some sacred geometry activation cards for you, and 3 of them wanted to come out for you, so let's see what they are. We have Passion, with card number 34, 7, again, spirituality, wisdom, determination, and we have the sacral, the root, and a little bit of the solar plexus here, and it says, the frequency of passion reminds us that beneath every intense emotion lies the hidden gem of insight, balance, and calm. It assists us in finding the balance within this intensity, moving us from chaos to the calm of its core, where we can let its long-lasting wisdom fill us up. I love that this came out for you, because again, we're talking about the hidden gem, and there's something hidden within this mountain, within your being, within your mind, within your DNA. There's some code, some wisdom, ancient wisdom that you carry. And you are like the calm in the storm, you're that anchor, that solid ground. When everything seems to be chaotic and filled with chaos and illusion, you're the light, you're the love, you're the, stability, the foundation. Ooh, we have empowerment. Number 26, it's 8, strength. Yeah, you're a very strong individual. You're here to bring that balance, restoring balance, ending these old karmic cycles. It says the frequency of empowerment supports our ability to show up fully and completely, uniting us with others in the deep trust that we are all connected through the same source. See, and this is your truth right here. And you're learning to feel more empowered, to feel it's like self-approval, self-love, empowering yourself to speak your truth and to be your authentic self, to remove any mask that you hide behind, and to expose your heart and to share it with others. And you have fertility, card number 27, completion, closing chapters, and fulfillment, the end of a cycle. And we started off with a 9 as well. 99, new beginnings, a unique path, having faith in your abilities and letting go of the past, old versions of yourself, and stand in your truth. Come into your full power, pile number 2. So we have the frequency of fertility, invites us to be more open, more courageous, more creative, and more joyful than we were before. It activates the potential for something beautiful to grow from our consciousness into a new and grander expression of ourselves. This sums up your whole reading right here. There's something blooming within you, something growing, and it's being activated, you know. You contain the entire universe encoded within you, like it's within your DNA, your memories of all the incarnations that you ever incarnated here on the planet. Like it's all within you, it's all within your heart. Your true self, your divine self. And you're here to master the physical realm, to remember who you are, to remember the truth, to remember your divinity, pile number 3. And that's what you are learning at this moment that you were tuning into this. You're remembering your truth, you're remembering your passion, your fire, to love yourself, to shine your light on the illusion, to expose the illusion, to restore balance, to speak truth, to shine your light and share your heart, pile number 2. So step into your courage, step into your power, be fearless moving forward. All right, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and close your reading. I'm sending out so much love. Thank you for being here. If this reading resonated with you and you feel like sharing your story, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. This helps me grow my channel and find other like-minded souls like yourself. If you don't know what to say, just let me know that pile number 2 resonated with you. And I look forward to seeing you all in future readings. Y'all take care and have a blessed day. Hello, beautiful pile number 3. So you guys were drawn to the Opalite Wolf, as well as the card that says your effortless effort is fully required. And on this card, what started sticking out to me were the words, and they have mastery, joy, vision, and this one's just hidden below the surface. So something is about to be revealed, and it doesn't require any effort on your part. So there's something that's about to be taking off in your life. There's some new cycle, something new. And we have card number 39, which is a 12, which is a 3, and that is about expansion and abundance. So let's take a look, and it says effortless effort. So there's nothing that you need to do. There's something that's coming in, something's expanding, something's growing. And since we have vision, joy, and mastery, I feel like that is what is expanding for you. You're learning to master your vision, master your mind, and finding more joy in your life, more happiness in your life. And we have Opalite, and Opalite's a stone of balance. You know, it's man-made, but it still has healing properties because it's made of, you know, the earth. It's glass in a sense, and glass is sand, and so sand is essentially, you know, quartz and other minerals. So it does have healing properties to it, but it's definitely a stone of balance and fertility. So something's growing. Let's see, what do we have? We have calm. I'm surrounded by the energy of calm, peace, and positivity. The angels remind you that calmness comes with the determination to live ever happy in the present moment, relinquishing the past and not worrying about the future, but placing our lives firmly in the Creator's hand. Ooh, nice. This is about having a trust fall and surrendering to, you know, Source Creator, and knowing that everything that's meant for you is going to come on the path. It'll just show up in your reality. And then also trusting yourself that you can handle like anything that is brought to you on the path. This is about self-mastery, mastering your emotions, mastering your mind, being able to see beyond the illusion, not holding on to the past and, you know, the pain and the betrayals. It's about taking that trust fall, that leap of faith, and knowing that you're going to be guided. That's that effortless effort, right? All right, what are we learning? We have deep freeze. So I feel like with the deep freeze, you're being more of, maybe you feel like there's nothing moving forward, or like maybe you feel stuck. like nothing's happening yet. And then you have unexpected visitors. So, and it's this individual who's peeking through a door. So the door is just opening. Something is about to be revealed. Something's about to come into your reality. Oh yeah, and look, we have a little bunny again with fertility. Something's growing. Perhaps some of you are gonna receive an unexpected visitor. There might be somebody from the past who, stops by to have a conversation with you, or this may be your spirit guides, an unknown individual coming into your life. Ooh, we have a little frog sitting on the mushroom here. So, and frogs, they also represent fertility, and they're very versatile. They need to be, it's wild. Their skin needs to be wet. Like they don't do well in dry, harsh environments. They do require some like moist soil. And so I feel like there is an aspect of self-care and self-love that you're also being reminded of to practice, and that's what helps keeps you in that place of being open and receptive. Deep freeze. Let's see if we get more clarification on that card. But yeah, there's this beautiful, growth around you. And I feel like you're just now maybe being able to see that. You're just piercing the veil beyond the illusion. Maybe there's been that fear that things haven't been moving forward, and you're maybe just now starting to see some growth. We have breathe in your trueness. Look at that beautiful unicorn. Some of you are unicorns. You're very unique. You have a unique perspective. And it's this book. A new chapter of the story is about to be revealed. Something's coming in. You're about to see things from a whole new perspective. Big shifts, the turning of the page. It's something new. I mean, that's exciting. Your effortless effort is fully required. There's nothing that you need to do. You just need to wait and allow things to fall into place. And we have card number 41 here, and that's about, it's a 5. Life lessons, change, shifts happening. And we have the turning of the page here. So I feel like you are mastering your own uniqueness, yourself, not being afraid to be who you are. Some of you may have come over from pile number 2 with the, being your unique self and expressing your uniqueness. Unicorns are rare. Find your way home. Oh, look at it. See the birdies. There's a bluebird. Oh, we have turquoise around here. There's this protective, nurturing energy around you right now. Pile number 3. Yes, exactly. It's protecting your dreams, your wishes, your desires by being open and receptive. Ooh, this could be your dreams and your desires are starting to grow. They're maturing. Finding your way home. Yeah, coming into your most authentic self. We have the north and the south here. Finding your way home. Yeah, exactly. Following your inner light, your inner compass. Hold on to your light, to your uniqueness. It's also about your inner child, your purity, your innocence. Yeah, you already are, beautiful in the eyes of Source, of God, of Creator, whatever you call the higher powers. They're just words to help us identify, ultimate's creator. There's a little cryptic compared to everybody else's, pile number 3. And you have the warrior. Be fearless and stand strong. Yeah, it's about honoring your true self, honoring your authentic self, standing up for what you believe in. You know, when we're being asked to, you know, trust and have faith, it can be a little bit scary sometimes because the path ahead is unsure, you know, and our mind wants to know the next steps and wants to know what's coming, what's going to happen, and where we have no control. And that's the thing, we have to surrender to knowing that we actually don't have any kind of control. We can think we have control. We have the illusion of control, but really we do not. Some things are meant to happen. I think everything's meant to happen at the time that they're meant to. And it's all about divine timing. And sometimes we feel like things aren't moving forward. Nothing's happening. I've been doing all this work and I'm not seeing, you know, the fruits of my labor. I'm not seeing any changes yet. And that's where we get tested. You know, it's like that ultimate test of faith. Oh my goodness, I just had a hummingbird come fly up to the window and just look me dead in my face and hover there for a few seconds, and then it moved on. So, you know, and hummingbirds are bringers of happiness, of success, of joy, of miracles, you know, and that's the thing, when we have that faith and we know that no matter what, Source has got my back and that everything that comes onto my path is meant for me, and know that we can find solutions, we can find ways to handle it, we can shift our perspective, we can look for the light in all situations, you know, and know that we are loved and guided along the way. Miracles happen, you know, signs and synchronicities just start showing up in your reality, and they're there to remind you that you are loved, that you are protected, and that you are always guided. And so right now, I feel like you're being asked to, you know, surrender. It doesn't require you to do anything but trust and have faith, and to be brave and fearless in any of the fears that make you feel like you're not moving forward or nothing's going to happen, like you're left out in the cold and forgotten, that your dreams aren't going to manifest, or you're stuck and you can't move forward. There is growth. Come into your heart space. Pile number 3? Pile number 3, yes. There is something growing behind the scenes that you aren't able to perceive yet, you know, and you're being asked to have that faith and know that everything's working out according to divine plan. And sometimes, like, let's say you want this new job and you're wanting to work at a certain place, you know, have a certain position, and there's nothing opened up yet. What sometimes needs to happen is somebody needs to, you know, lose a job, or a practice needs to open up where they're hiring and they're looking for somebody new, you know, or somebody else gets promoted before there can be a new opening for the type of job that you're looking for. You know, everything it's like the cogs, you know, each one has to move before there's this opening or the door can open. So it's like you're being shown where the door is cracked open, the pages are turning, there is growth, there is movement, even if you can't perceive it. Know that it is. Have faith and trust and surrender that everything is working out. And that when an opportunity presents itself, trust in yourself to be aware enough, to be paying attention enough to see the signs, to know when to act and to move. But stand strong, pile number 3. That's your warrior energy here. Be fearless. Stand in your truth. See the truth. Acknowledge the truth. We have the stag. Trust and thrive. That's what's up. Trust that you are growing. Trust that even if you can't see it. It's just like, if you ever grown carrots, you have to trust them. Even though you can't see the plants growing, you have, the tops. You can see the greens, but you can't, there's no evidence of the carrot growing beneath the soil, but it's there. You're hoping and praying that it's there. But you have to leave it in there long enough to cook. It's got to grow. And while we can only see certain things on the surface, but know that it's deeper than that. It's not just this surface level growth. It is something that is deeper. This is like old ancient wisdom. The stag. Trust and thrive. Exactly. The more you can go into your heart space and live from a space of gratitude and trust and faith, knowing that you're always being guided, trust that you are always supported, have gratitude for everything that's in your life currently and that is coming into your life, and it puts you in this state of flow, which allows, divine timing to take place naturally. Like you end up being in that flow state instead of blocking and being resistant to things, because then you can slow the process down by worrying about it, by being fearful about it, by trying to force it and control it, by trying to make things happen because you think you know best, right? But we don't know what source has in store for us. We can have an idea of what we think is going to be great and make us successful and happy, but source has something so much better in mind, and if we learn to let go and surrender to that, we will be in our happiest, highest timeline, because we've surrendered to spirit, to guiding us to our ultimate happiness. What else? You have the moose with wisdom. I love that you have the moose and the stag here, and a unicorn. So all these horns, all this wisdom. You have let your head and mind reach to the stars, yet keep your feet grounded on the earth. Listen to the ancient wisdom in your soul. The ancestors speak through you. You know much. So these could be the visitors that are coming in for you. Your guides are going to be speaking to you. The more you tune into your heart with the unicorn here, this is about your inner child, your heart space, your innocence, your purity, your inner knowing. The more you listen to the wisdom of your inner child, of your heart, the more you're going to thrive, the more successful you're going to be, the more calm you're going to be, the happier you're going to be, because that is the truth. It is the truth, but you have to surrender and have faith and stand strong and be fearless in the face of fears, and the facing any kind of illusion that tells you you're not going to get this job, you're not going to be successful, you're not going to have a financial income to support yourself, or that you're not good enough in some way, whatever it is that you may be afraid of. Listen to your heart. Trust in source. Source will speak to you in your heart. And you're being asked to surrender. Effortless effort is required. And when you surrender, you tune into that flow state, which shifts the energies from pushing out and chasing something versus pausing, stopping, and allowing it to flow to you. And then it'll come in quicker because you're no longer resisting and chasing the energy, which ends up pushing it away from you, pushing it further away. Okay, pile number 3. I pulled some sacred geometry activation cards, and you got the most. You had 5 that wanted to come out. So these are sacred geometry, and each one is like a code that's going to activate something within your DNA. So like when you look at the image, it's supposed to trigger something or to bring awareness and perspective to your soul. Okay, let's see. For number 1, we have compassion. Right? It says the frequency of compassion supports our ability to stand by others without judgment and be the divine mediator between heaven and earth, spirit and matter, so that unconditional love can flow from source through our heart and into the world. Okay, so with compassion, you're being asked to, have compassion for others, to be that person who forms the bridge between spirit and earth, as like the messenger, the one who knows that they are connected, who is that connection, and this is the heart, but it's also the throat, your truth, being able to know the truth, even having compassion for yourself, pile number 3. Let's see, what else do we have? We have integration. The frequency of integration supports our embrace of every... It don't quite sound right, does it? The frequency of integration supports our embrace of every aspect of ourselves, allowing what we perceive as positive and what we perceive as negative to harmonize in a balanced symphony of life. See, and that's wild that we have integration coming out with this compassion and being the divine mediator between heaven and earth. This is a blending of source, of your divine self and your physical self, and marrying the two so that you can feel fully confident being your divine self here on the planet Earth, but then also being that bridge, forming that bridge. So this could be something that you've been wanting to manifest in your life, is bringing your higher self here into the physical realm and feeling more connection to your spiritual self, or to your spiritual allies, even your spirit guides. Yeah, with finding your way home, coming home into your divine self. So maybe you feel like you've been doing all this work, you've been, working on your fears, facing your fears, been open and receptive, healing your inner child and everything, and you've been waiting to see some type of connection maybe, or acknowledgement, or a feeling, something big, needing that confirmation, that physical confirmation that it's truly happening, or that it has happened. And so with this trust and thrive, trust in your wisdom, trust in source, that everything is moving along, the door is opening, and there's this like individual who's peeking through the door, So it is happening. Number 3. You are integrating the past with the present. You're integrating your divine self with your physical self. Heaven and earth, blending the two. And it's it's card number 30, which is a 3 and a 0. So it's abundance and expansion. But it's also about new beginnings and taking a leap of faith and cycles. Yeah, so there's, like I said, there's something growing, something expanding, and it could be you connecting more with your divine self, your divine light, your child, your purity, your inner child, which is your divine self, your divine spark. We got soul time. Beautiful. Look at that color. The frequency of soul time asks us to allow the possibility of a new reality to emerge. What? You can't make that stuff up. One that embraces the concept that while the corporeal body is mortal, the soul is timeless, limitless, and infinite. Okay, so that's beautiful. So there's something new that's going to be emerging in your reality, something growing, something's going to be revealed. Maybe there's an aspect of yourself that's been buried, that's been hidden, that hasn't been accessed yet in this lifetime, that's about to come online. You're about to remember who you are. Ooh, yeah, you could be accessing, soul memories about the past, memories of your true divine self, your divine nature, your soul origins. We have 30 and 40. So 4 is about stability, solid foundations. 3, communication. Ooh. Yeah, so there's going to be some type of communication that takes place within. And some of you may be getting access to your spiritual gifts. Some of you may be, clairaudient, clairvoyant, telepathic. Maybe you've already have been, working with these energies, and so I think they're going to start growing stronger. Just take what resonates for you. That's beautiful. Looks like a flower. Oh, we got synergy with 41. The frequency of synergy supports our allowance and acceptance of not so obvious, never seen before combinations and unions that result in ways of functioning, working, thinking, relating, loving, and being. It reminds us to embrace the unfamiliar so that new yet exciting co-creations can give birth to a new reality. That's awesome. So there's going to be some things that just, occur in your reality that just pop up that seem like they're not connected. But yet they are. And it's like when you're going through like the chaos and you're going through the struggle and the trauma and the challenge, like it's hard to see, was it the tree from the forest? I can't remember the saying, but it's hard to see in the middle of the chaos and the struggle what the deeper meaning is. Like, why is this happening? We always question those things. What does this mean? Why is this happening? What's going to happen? What am I going to do? Those types of things, and so it's hard to see the benefit of those situations at the moment you're going through them. But then a couple years down the line, you may look back over that situation and see how it made sense, and that the reason why you went through certain things was to give you an experience of some sort to lean on or to pull from in this future scenario, or maybe there's tools and gifts and skills that you obtained from this experience that you're able to use now, and it makes it like easier, or it just makes sense, like, wow, now I know why I had to do that, or now I know why I had that experience because it was preparing me for this. You start to see how everything starts adding up and everything starts to make sense, where you didn't think that certain things were related, and eventually you figure out, wow, everything has been leading up to this moment, and it all starts to the dots start to connect, and you start to see the truth, you start to see the connections, you start seeing the truth. So there's something, like I said, there's something that's going to be revealed to you. Pile number 3, and we have Tantric Journey with the number 6. So, you have 41 and 41, so that could be a number for you. That's also like a 55, which is about change, adventure, freedom, desire for new experiences. Maybe you are wanting some change in your life. You're wanting to experience something new. You're wanting, things to change, and this is about transformation. But maybe look at number 4141. I don't have that information here. And then we have the Tantric Journey, and it says the frequency of Tantric Journey helps us to unlock the hidden knowledge and wisdom that we intrinsically, let me see if I can say that right, sorry, I'm going to be paranoid and saying it wrong. Alright, so let's start over. The frequency of Tantric Journey helps us to unlock the hidden knowledge and wisdom that we intrinsically, that's the word, that we instinctively, that's what I'm going to use, hold about how to reach a state of wholeness and completion through our sensual experiences with ourselves and with another. So with this code right here, some ancient wisdom and knowledge is going to be unlocked for you. Like I was saying, there's going to be something that's going to be revealed to you, and you're going to see how everything makes sense. And maybe in the past it didn't make sense up until now, but now you're starting to see that everything had to happen, and there's a reason for everything that we experience in our life. And everything that we go through is all teaching and preparing us for something, and we're always learning and growing. And sometimes we get stuck. Sometimes we let fear take over, and sometimes we just get complacent, and, we just get in a rut sometimes. But what starts to happen is, like, you get, you start to get bored, and you start craving new experiences, and you want something new, and you want to feel fulfilled, you want to feel happy, you want to see if there's some type of meaning to your life, and then you start going on this soul journey. You start awakening, you start, changing, you start trying new things. It's like the whole world of discovery, where you start looking at things in a different way. And it's about awakening. It's about using your wisdom to guide you, listening to your guides, spending more time, in nature or in quiet contemplation with yourself, and going within that inner journey, and seeing things from different perspective, using your wisdom to guide you. And when you start taking time out, where you start being the observer, you learn that everything happens for a reason and according to divine time. And there's nothing that you need to do, nothing you need to push, to control. You just need to pause, take a step back, trust, have faith, and know that everything that's meant for you is on its way to you. And that when you encounter some type of struggle or blockage, it's just a redirection. It's not saying that you're doing something wrong. It's just saying that, it's your guides, it's source, it's the universe guiding you to a different path that's more aligned with who you are as a soul and your mission of why you incarnated, what your soul purpose is. You're being guided to that mission, to your purpose. So let go of any fears about being on the wrong path. You're always in the right place at the right time. It's just being open and listening and trusting that everything that is meant for you is coming towards you, and there's nothing that you need to do to be, good enough to receive it. You're already worthy as the person that you are, pile number 3. So I hope this reading resonates with you who have tuned into this reading. If you feel like sharing your story with me and the collective, we'd love to hear from you. If you don't know what to say, just let me know pile number 3 resonated with you. I'd love to have you back for future readings. Sending y'all lots of love. Y'all take care and have a blessed day.